Hi there. Welcome to our channel about speaking better English, more fluent English. Today, we're going to talk about a big mistake many people make when trying to speak better English. Many of you think that to speak better, you need to talk more. But what if I told you this idea is completely wrong? In this video, I'll show you the real way to become a fluent English speaker. Hi, my name is Herbert Lee. I've been an English teacher for well over 20 years, but I've been an English learner for over 70 years. And like many of you, English is not my mother tongue. It's not my native language. Because I actually had to learn English, I understand the challenges that English learners have. Before I developed my English teaching materials, I researched better ways to help students develop fluency and conversation skills in the shortest time possible. Today, I'm sharing the most important lesson to become more fluent more quickly. It begins with the wrong idea.
Oh, really?
Many people learning English think they need to talk as much as they can to get better, to develop fluency. It seems to make sense, right? We often hear that practice makes perfect. But when you're learning a language, this might not be the best way. And if you're practicing imperfectly, you will never become a fluent English speaker. So here's the truth about language learning. To understand why talking more isn't always the answer, we need to look at how we actually learn language. When we learn our first language as babies, as kids, we don't start by talking. We start by listening. For a long time, we hear the sounds and patterns of our language before we even say our very first word. For over a year and a half, as a baby, all you do is listen. And you don't understand anything that's being said. Nothing. You have no understanding at all. So that's around 2,500 to 3,000 hours of pure listening in your native language. This time of just listening is very important. During this time, our brains are working hard to understand the language we hear. We're building a strong base of language that will help us speak well later. This is also true when learning a second language like English. By listening more, you give your brain what it needs to understand English better. This base is essential, absolutely the key for speaking well and easily. It builds a firm foundation for anything else you want to add later. And if you don't have that base, if you don't have that foundation, nothing else matters. It's been said and proven by research, how you hear English is closely related to how you speak English. Now let's look at how listening can make your speaking better. It helps you to learn more words. When you listen to people who speak English well, you hear many words used in real situations. And this helps you learn new words better than just memorizing lists of words or reading them in a book. When you do start to speak English, you will sound better. You will speak better because when you listen to good English speakers, this helps you say words the correct way. You'll start to hear some small differences in the sounds that you might not have in your native language. You'll definitely speak more naturally when you listen more. English has its own beat and sound. By listening closely, you'll start to pick up on these patterns without even trying, because you'll be like a baby. You're just copying what other people are saying. And you may not even understand it, but your sound, your pronunciation will be perfect. So you will even learn grammar just by hearing it, just by listening to it. Now, many of you are spending a lot of time trying to learn grammar rules. While learning grammar rules is a good thing, hearing how people actually use grammar is even more important. You'll start to feel what sounds right without having to think about all those rules. By listening well, you also understand the culture. Language and culture go hand in hand. By listening to native English speakers, you'll learn about their way of life, jokes, and how they act with one another. Finally, you will understand more. The more you listen, the better you'll get at understanding spoken English, which is exactly how you learned to understand your native language. This is very important for having good conversations, as you need to understand the other person so you can answer well. After all, it's no fun for the other person if you keep saying, "Can you repeat that, please?" Now, before I get into why talking too much can be bad for you, I want to share some of my conversation breakthroughs with you. For many years, I have researched better and easier ways to develop fluent conversation skills, and I put a lot of that research into a guide, The 5 Biggest Mistakes in English Conversation. Click on the link below to get your copy of my free guide. Now, here's why talking too much can be bad. Now, let's talk about why just focusing on speaking may actually hurt you. They hurt you because they make mistakes stick. What do I mean by that? If you speak without a good base, you will keep making the same mistakes. Your pronunciation mistakes, your grammar mistakes will just continue, unless you're getting feedback and can correct them. Otherwise, it'll be very difficult to correct those mistakes once you've made them repeatedly in your brain. It's much harder to fix mistakes later. That's why listening will help you create a good foundation, a solid foundation of what good, proper English actually is. When you don't listen, you're not learning enough. And what do I mean by that? When you're not listening, you will not be learning enough. When you're always talking, you're not giving yourself a chance to learn from others. You're missing out on new words and better ways to say things. And when you're talking too much, always talking without listening can make you someone who talks too much. In many places, including where English is spoken, this is usually considered rude, and you'll be called a blabbermouth or a chatterbox. And believe you me, nobody, absolutely nobody, wants to talk to a chatterbox or a blabbermouth. When you're trying too hard to speak English, chances are good you're not saying enough because you don't have enough vocabulary, you don't have enough things to say. Without enough listening practice, you might be able to say simple things, but you'll have trouble with harder ideas. When you don't listen correctly, when you don't use active listening, you miss your opportunity to understand the culture. Speaking without listening can lead to mistakes in how you act with others, as you're not picking up on important social hints. So it's really important to find the proper mix. It's a balancing act. So this doesn't mean you should never speak. Talking is important too, but the key is to find the right balance. So here are some tips. When you're at the beginning speaking stage, learn to listen more. Try to listen more than you speak. As you develop your vocabulary from listening, as you improve your pronunciation from speaking, you will become more confident, and then you can speak a bit more. When you're talking with someone, focus on really understanding them. Don't just use them as a speaking dummy, where you talk and talk and talk and you don't care what they say. You have to listen actively. Pay close attention to what's being said and ask questions when you don't understand. People appreciate that because when you ask questions about what they said, they know that you're interested. Learn to copy what you hear. Try saying what a good English speaker says right after you hear it. So you might rephrase it as a question. So do I hear you saying, and you repeat the phrase. This is how you can put these ideas into your brain. This helps you practice how to say things correctly. Now, you need to think about what you heard. After listening to someone, try to say back what they say in your own words. This is called paraphrasing. It's also important to think before you speak. When you do speak, take a moment to think about what you want to say. It's better to say less, but say it well. Here are some fantastic ways to really improve your listening skills. Listen to podcasts. Find English podcasts about things you like, not just podcasts about learning English. See my video on how to choose the best podcast for you. Watch TV shows and movies. Start with subtitles in your language, but then gradually change and use English subtitles. And finally, try to get by without any subtitles. Try to watch short clips of the movie, maybe 10 or 15 minutes. You watch them over and over until you understand. This is much better than trying to watch a 2-hour movie and you don't understand anything. It will make you tired, frustrated, and want to give up. Listen to books. Audiobooks can help you hear a lot of different words and ways of talking. Use the same thinking to choose an audiobook as you choose a podcast. Find something you are interested in. If you can understand 60 to 70% of a particular podcast, that's just right for you. Otherwise, find another audiobook. Watch the news. News speakers often speak clearly. In fact, they're trained to speak slowly and clearly, and you will learn lots of new and different words, and your vocabulary will improve. Listen to music. Try to understand the words in English songs. Talk with others. Now, this is the one most of you think, oh, this is how I do it. When you practice with others, again, try to listen more than you speak and ask questions about what they say to get clarification. Have a little notebook and write down what you hear. Try writing down little bits of what you hear that you may want to use in your own conversation when you do speak. This makes you listen very carefully. You need to learn to listen to different accents. Try to hear English spoken in different ways. This is a multicultural language. English puts in many words from around the world. And everywhere around the world, everyone's trying to learn English. And many of them have an accent that you need to get used to. Don't stick to just learning British or American English because you will not be able to understand a lot of people who speak with other accents. In the end, the best way to speak better English is to listen more. By listening a lot, you'll naturally get better at using words, saying them right, and understanding the culture. Remember, good speaking goes both ways. By being a better listener, you will not only speak better, but also be a better person to talk to. People will look for you because you listen, and you'll make lots of friends. So next time you want to practice English, ask yourself, have I listened enough today? Your path to speaking English well starts with your ears, not your mouth. It's been said that we have been given 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we hear. Happy listening. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to my channel for even more tips on how to have a conversation breakthrough. And have a look at some of my other videos in this channel. My recommendations are how to choose the perfect podcast for you, how to use chunks and chunking, and how to listen and speak fast English. In the comments, tell me how you're using these ideas to actually listen better. It's Herbert Lee saying bye for now. And remember, next time you talk in English, try to listen more than you speak. You'll thank yourself later.